According to former political prisoner Professor Minqi Li, all the dazzle of the Olympic Games does not cover the growing social inequality in China. Senior editor Paul Jay spoke with Professor Minqi Li.
Welcome back to the second part of our interview with Minqi Li. Minqi, talk a bit about the struggles taking place in China. We're told that these Olympic Games and the ceremonies were the expression of harmony. The Chinese Communist Party is calling for a harmonious society. But these were the same slogans used by Chinese feudalism, where people are supposed to accept their lot in life. So talk to us about what exactly is happening now in China.
Well, that's the interesting thing, in the Olympic opening ceremony, there's this celebration of the Confucian ritual. So today you can celebrate Confucianism, you can celebrate the West, but you cannot celebrate anything associated with the revolution or socialism.
Just in case there's anybody in this audience that didn't see the opening ceremonies, which I suppose is possible, there was next to nothing in the opening ceremonies that had anything to do with anything that happened either during World War II, the anti-Japanese war, and nothing really about what happened in the revolution in the last 50, 60 years.
In fact, the Chinese Communist Party leadership today is promoting this harmonious society exactly because they feel that over the years of market-oriented reform, China has developed so many social conflicts, so many disharmonious aspects in the society. And so basically after about 2002, 2003, with the coming of this new administration led by Hu Jintao and Wen Jiabao, and they feel it's necessary to take some steps to address these issues.
Minqi, could you give us some examples of what you say are a rising disparity or these social tensions? Give us some facts, some statistics that give us a picture of what's happening in China now.
There are some statistics, if I remember correctly, saying that anywhere between 1% or 5% of Chinese population controlling about 70% of all of the financial wealth. And it's also interesting that a few days earlier, I read a commentary article on the Financial Times, which says that why China's middle class does not like democracy. It's written by an American, and basically he is arguing that the Chinese middle class is actually a misnomer in the Chinese context. It's actually about the most privileged 15% of population. And they would in fact be quite concerned given China's context today. If you do have democracy in China, they would be outvoted by the lower classes in China. So that gives you some idea about the situation in China today.
For example, what's the situation in terms of health care for people, unemployment, some basic statistics about life?
In terms of unemployment, the official statistic is not that reliable, but basically throughout the 1990s, maybe 70 or 80% of the state industrial sector was privatized, and as a result, between 30 million and 60 million of the state sector and the collective sector workers lost their jobs in that period of time. And in the meantime, we have between 100 million to 200 million of the workers, the so-called migrant workers, meaning they originally came from the rural area, then work and get employed in the urban sectors. Migrant workers typically work in the sweatshop conditions that's well known. And in terms of healthcare, China used to have relatively good healthcare system by the third world standard, and that has completely changed. And so China by now has arguably the most privatized healthcare system in the world in terms of most of the workers, especially in the rural areas, do not have access to health insurance, so they have to pay out of their pocket and when they see a doctor.
In the next segment of our interview, let's talk about the idea that this is part of growing pains, that this is a catharsis China has to go through, and that first the cities become more affluent and then the countryside will follow. That's the theory. In the next segment of our interview, let's find out whether Minqi thinks this is true.